Years kept passing in the silence, still no child had yet been born. Though the Lord had made a promise, Abram waited through the storm. Sarai looked upon the future, and her heart grew tired with pain, wondering how the promised blessing could arrive through such delay. Then she spoke to faithful Abram, "Take my servant as your wife. Perhaps through her the Lord will grant us what we've waited for in life." So Hagar entered Abram's household, and she soon conceived a son. But the joy became a burden as division had begun. Pride arose within her spirit, sorrow filled another heart. What was meant to bring a blessing pulled the family apart. Harsh words echoed through the dwelling, peace gave way to grief and strain, and Hagar fled into the wilderness, seeking refuge from the pain. There beside a desert springtime, far from comfort, far from home, the angel of the Lord found Hagar, showing she was not alone. "Hagar, where are you now going? Why this journey through the land?" And she told of all her sorrow, of the troubles she had planned. Then he spoke with grace and mercy, "Return now and do not fear, for the Lord has seen your suffering, and He knows each falling tear. You will bear a son called Ishmael, for God hears the troubled cry, and your child will grow and flourish under heaven wide and high." There in awe she named the place, for the God who saw her pain, knowing she had met the one who would never look away. Back she went in humble courage, trusting what the Lord had said, and in time the child was welcomed, just as heaven's message spread. Yet this story gently teaches what impatience often brings, when we rush ahead of God's plan, seeking answers by our strength. Still the Lord remains compassionate, full of mercy, full of grace, meeting broken hearts in deserts, reaching every hidden place. He sees those the world forgets, He hears every silent prayer, and His love is never distant, for His presence lingers there. When the waiting seems too heavy and the road is hard to see, may we trust the God of promise more than human certainty. For the one who watched o'er Hagar still is watching from above, guiding all who seek His refuge with His everlasting love. When Abram reached a greater age, many years had come and gone, still the Lord remained beside him, faithful as the rising dawn. Then the Lord appeared and told him, I am God Almighty's name. Walk before me and be blameless, for my covenant remains. Abram fell upon his face then, humbled by the voice divine. And the Lord spoke of a promise set apart through sacred time. No longer shall you be called Abram, for a greater name you'll bear. You shall now be nations everywhere. Kings shall come from your descendants. Many peoples will arise, and my covenant shall endure through the ages yet to rise. And the Lord spoke also of Sarah, changing her beloved name. She shall be a mother of nations, and her blessing shall remain. From her line shall kings be born, and a son will surely come. Though the years seem far advanced now, my great work is not yet done. Abraham could scarcely fathom how such things could ever be. Yet the Lord who formed the heavens sees beyond what then God gave a sacred sign, a covenant for every age, marking all who shared the promise, written on a living page. Every household joined together, every servant, every son, showing they belonged forever to the covenant begun. Abraham obeyed that very day, trusting all the Lord had said, not delaying in obedience, following where God had led. For the Lord keeps every promise, though the waiting may be long, and His power is not limited by the weak or by the strong. What seems impossible to people is not difficult for God, for the one who shaped creation rules the earth on which we trod. When He speaks, His word stands certain. Every purpose will succeed. and his plans unfold in wisdom, meeting every hidden need. Blessed are the hearts that trust him when the answers seem delayed, for his timing is far greater than the plans that we have made. Through the years his faithfulness shines like the stars above the sea, and his covenant endures forever for all who choose to believe. God Almighty reigns forever, faithful, holy, strong, and true. And the promises he started, he is faithful still to do. In the heat of midday sunlight, by the oaks of Mamre's shade, Abraham was resting quietly when three visitors appeared. Quickly he arose to greet them, offering water, rest, and bread, showing kindness to the strangers who had come where he was led. Sarah hurried to prepare food, servants worked with careful hands, and a feast was set before them there beneath the desert sands. Then the visitors spoke gently, "Where is Sarah, faithful wife?" And they shared a wondrous promise that would change their waiting life. By this time another season, Sarah shall embrace a son. Listening near the tent behind them, she laughed softly at the thought. Years had passed beyond imagining, strength of youth had slipped away. How could such a thing be possible at this late and distant day? Then the Lord replied with mercy, "Why does Sarah laugh in fear? Is there anything too difficult for the Lord who now is here?" Sarah trembled and denied it, yet the Lord had heard her heart. For no hidden thought escapes him, nothing stands from him apart. Then the man arose and journeyed toward the cities of the plain, and the Lord revealed to Abraham what would soon bring grief and pain. Great injustice filled those places, cries of sorrow reached the sky, and the Lord would judge their evil, for their wickedness was high. Abraham then stood before him, pleading humbly for the land, asking mercy for the righteous who might there among them stand. If there should be 50 righteous, will you spare the city still? And the Lord replied with patience, "I will spare it for their sake." Then he asked again with courage, even 10 there. Each request the Lord heard through. Again and again God answered, showing mercy in His grace, willing still to spare the many for the righteous in that place. When their conversation ended, Abraham returned once more, knowing God's heart joins together perfect justice, mercy's core. The Lord sees the deeds of nations, nothing hidden from His sight. Yet He listens to His children when they pray both day and night. He is patient beyond measure, rich in mercy, strong and true, and He welcomes humble pleading from the ones who trust Him through. For the God who promised Isaac still performs what He has said, and no word that He has spoken falls forgotten or lies dead. Nothing is too hard for heaven, nothing greater than His might, and His mercy shines forever like the stars that fill the night. Two messengers came at evening to the city gates one day. Lot was sitting there and saw them, and he urged them both to stay. Come and rest within my household, wash your feet and share a meal. But they first refused politely, till his welcome proved sincere. So they entered and he served them, yet before the night was gone, men of Sodom filled the streets there, driven by corruption strong. Great was evil in that city, hearts had wandered far from grace, and the wickedness around them had defiled the place. Then the messengers protected Lot and all who were inside, and they warned him of the judgment soon descending like a tide. Gather all who belong to you, take your family and flee, for the Lord has heard the outcry, and this city shall not be. Lot went out to warn the others, but his words seemed like a jest, and they would not heed the warning, choosing danger over rest. As the dawn began to brighten, still he lingered in dismay, yet the messengers in mercy led his trembling hand away. With his wife and daughters with him, out beyond the city's plain, came the urgent call from heaven, do not look behind again. Then the judgment fell from heaven, fire upon the land below, and the cities of the valley met the end they came to know. But Lot's wife looked back in longing toward the life she left behind, and she lost the path before her, bound by what remained in mind. Abraham looked from a distance, watching smoke rise to the sky, knowing God had acted justly, though the scene brought sorrow nigh. Yet amid the fire and judgment, mercy still was clearly shown. For the Lord remembered Abraham and preserved the ones his own. God is patient, rich in mercy, giving many hearts a choice. Yet there comes a day of reckoning for the ones who spurn his voice. When he calls us to obedience, may we follow without delay, leaving every chain behind us, walking in his better way. Do not cling to fading shadows, do not look to what has passed, for the Lord prepares a future far more glorious and vast. His compassion reaches sinners, his justice always stands, and his wisdom guides his children with strong and faithful hands. Through the ages rings the lesson, clear as dawn's awakening light. Trust the Lord and keep moving forward, walking by his truth and might. Across the desert Abraham traveled to a land both strange and wide. Still the Lord was faithfully leading, walking ever by his side. Yet fear returned within his spirit, as it had in days before. And he said of Sarah, she's my sister, fearing what might lie in store. Then the king named Abimelech heard of Sarah's beauty there, and he brought her to his household, unaware of what they shared. But in dreams the Lord came warning, speaking plainly through the night. You have taken another's wife now, this is not a thing that's right. Abimelech rose in trembling, for his heart had acted clean, never knowing Sarah's marriage, nor what Abraham did mean. Then the Lord replied with mercy, I know well your heart is true, therefore I have kept you from sinning, holding back what you might do. Now return the woman safely, for her husband prays to me, and through him you'll find forgiveness, and your household shall be free. When the morning light was breaking, Abimelech called his men, and he spoke with Abraham openly, questioning his actions then. Why have you brought this upon us? What have we done to deserve such a danger to our people by the words that you preserved? Abraham confessed his weakness, speaking of the fear he knew. Though the Lord had promised safety, still uncertainty broke through. Yet the king showed grace and kindness, giving gifts and land to stay, returning Sarah without blemish, sending fear and shame away. Then Abraham prayed before God, and the Lord restored the land, healing households and their families by his strong and faithful hand. This account reminds us gently, even faithful hearts may fall, yet the Lord remains compassionate, ready when his children call. Fear can cloud our judgment quickly, leading us from truth aside, but God's mercy still can find us when in him we choose to abide. He protects his plans and promises, though our weakness may appear, for his purpose stands forever, guided by his wisdom clear. Blessed is the God of heaven, who is righteous, good and true, showing mercy to the humble, making all things new. Through the years his grace continues, steady as the morning sun, and the work that he has started will endure until it